right, so I'm going to be using the Covergirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation. It is a new one from Covergirl. I have not used a Covergirl foundation in so long. So this is the first one in years that I've tried out. It is supposed to be a foundation and, well, it says 3-in-1. Foundation plus sunscreen, broad spectrum, SPF 20. I got mine in the shade 810 Classic Ivory. It's supposed to be lasting power of a primer, coverage of a concealer, and blendability of a foundation in one, shine free. So it's supposed to be, I think, long wearing too, the Outlast. So like I said, I got mine in Classic Ivory. There were quite a few different shades available. This was probably the second or third lightest shade. And I really do like that it has a pump, which is really nice. So it's very unusual to find drugstore foundations that have a built-in pump. So it's pretty creamy. I mean, it's not super liquidy like the Revlon Naked Foundation. It's pretty creamy. And just going to, I just have moisturizer on my face. Put it on, and I'm going to use a Sigma brush to buff it out. And so far it blends really easily. It just has, as far as smell goes, it's just a normal kind of foundation type smell. It doesn't have like really any fragrance or anything. Coverage wise, it seems to be very sheer coverage so far. I found that the Nearly Naked foundation from Revlon actually was quite medium coverage, but this one seems pretty sheer. And this shade is very, very light. Again, I think this was the second or third lightest shade, so I might have been able to go a shade darker, because this seems very, very light coverage. Or it seems like a very, very light foundation, because I'm feeling like, well, I haven't put any on my forehead, and it actually seems to kind of be the same color as my forehead, but it kind of really washes me out. But we'll see. How it's showing in the viewfinder is showing pretty true to color as far as how pale I am. So it is a very, Classic Ivory is very, very fair. I would even go a shade darker, so at least my skin has a little bit of warmth to it. But this is pretty, I guess pretty close to my skin color. So I would classify this as a very light coverage, light buildable coverage to like a medium coverage. I definitely would not say this is anywhere near a full coverage foundation, and it might even be pushing it as far as saying it's a medium coverage. So when it says that it's a concealer, primer, coverage of a concealer, and blendability of a foundation, I definitely would not say that it has the coverage of a concealer, because this is what, my second or third layer, and it's just now starting to cover some of this redness. If you can see that. See, I've put 2 to 3 coats on. I still see a little bit of redness on my cheeks. Okay, so that was about 2 to 3 coats or layers of product on. And it did cover, you know, after a few layers, covered pretty well. I would say that it's light coverage with buildable to medium coverage with a few layers on. So there's quite a few layers on. I would say that if you have acne scarring or if you have major discoloration, you're gonna need a concealer on top of it. Just because I can see some of my redness right on my cheeks still shining through. A little bit on my nose, and you know, I wouldn't go so far to say that it is the coverage of a concealer, because I feel that it was a pretty light coverage with just one layer on it. So it is 10:17, and I'll check in a few hours and let you know my thoughts and how it's wearing and if the colors change. I actually didn't really need to blend this down my neck too much because it's so fair that it kind of matches the rest of my body. It's a really, really light coloring. So if you're really, just keep that in mind. Like the Revlon Nearly Naked foundation, you'll want to go like a shade lighter a shade or two lighter because at least on me and from a lot of the feedback I got, it does oxidize. This one so far, you might want to go a shade darker than you think you are just because it's really light. So I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, I am here with a check-in. It is now 3:20 and I've had it on for quite a few hours now. I have really not too much shininess, just a tiny bit right around my nose area. I had my glasses on, so I do have glass, you know, marks from my glasses. But the color match is still really nice. I did set it with a little bit of powder, which I always do, and it wasn't like a stay matte powder or anything. I actually just used my Revlon Nearly Naked powder. But as far as staying power, so far really good. The coverage is nice. You know, it takes 2 or 3 layers of the foundation, but then it covers really beautifully. The finish is so beautiful. It's a very natural looking finish. It doesn't look heavy or cakey. I don't see it wearing off any areas, you know, with the exception of where my glasses have been sitting on my face. But so far, I think that the finish is absolutely beautiful, and I haven't had any issues with it wearing off or anything yet. So, so far, everything looks great, not too shiny. I think my eyebrows are crooked. I don't think it's my glasses. I think my eyebrows are crooked. Anyways, yeah, so far so good, and I will check in a little bit later, but so far I am absolutely loving this foundation. Once I get over the, you know, initial fact that it seemed a little bit like it washed me out, you can always warm your face up with a little bit of bronzer. So, so far, 2 thumbs up, so I'll check in a little bit. All right, so I'm here for the final check-in of the day. The foundation has held up phenomenally for a drugstore foundation. I did not touch up with any powder. I did not do any blotting or anything all day long. I have not even touched my makeup since I did it this morning. It's now 7:30. I'm getting ready to wipe all my makeup off and wash my face, but I wanted to do a check-in really quick. As you can see, there is just that tiny bit of like kind of dewiness just right here. My forehead stayed completely shine-free. My chin is shine-free. I find that all of my like makeup, even my blush has stayed, and contour stayed on really, really well in there, not long wearing blushes or contour, or yeah, blushes or bronzers. So I found that even my, you know, makeup that I apply on top of my foundation didn't wear off. This foundation is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. The powder that I used, like I said, was just the Nearly Naked powder from, where is it? The Nearly Naked powder from Revlon in the shade Light, and combining these two, which this is not a long wearing powder by any means, so just really helped to give me that perfect shade. I didn't really find that it oxidized at all, but I was able to warm up my face just a little bit with some powder, bronzer and stuff like that. But I love this foundation. I think that the coverage was really well. It covered really well after, you know, I know a lot of you have expressed that you really love, you know, you want long wearing foundation, but you want something really light on your skin. And I know that some of the longer wearing foundations like the Estee Lauder Double Wear, even the Revlon Color Stay can feel a little heavy on the skin. I think this feels very light on the skin. It's also a very light coverage. So if you don't want something like a full coverage foundation, it's the light coverage that you can build to a medium coverage foundation. Feels great on the skin. I don't feel like I have a ton of product on. My skin can breathe, but it has kept me shine free all day long. Mind you, today is Christmas, and I've been cooking and cleaning and opening gifts and all of that stuff, and I have stayed shine free. So I give this foundation 2 thumbs up for sure. I really, really do like this foundation. I still have to, you know, of course, play with it a little bit more, but my first impressions of it is it's a really great foundation, and you can pick this up at any drugstore. I found mine at CVS. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first impressions. I know a lot of you really liked the Revlon Nearly Naked one, so this is the new Covergirl. I'm also going to be doing the Revlon BB cream as well as other BB creams that I have to kind of get back on track with that one. Also the new Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Lifter foundation. I will have one for that too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would say that this does do all of the things that it claims. It does have a long-lasting power. It does have the coverage of a concealer with a few coats. I would definitely say with 1 coat, it is very light coverage. With 2 to 3 coats, it's definitely more of a medium buildable coverage, and it blends beautifully. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and demo and review. And if you tried out this foundation, then please let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye guys!